We got this one. Congressional Medal of Honor Eugene Sasser lives in Houston. I used to work with his son. Look him up, maybe mention it some Monday. I believe he passed away, though, didn't he, Chris? Okay, so he did pass away. And this is Vietnam. He was actually born in Chenango, Texas. Chenango, Texas, United States Army.
Ready, aim, fire.
Honoring those who went above and beyond. It's Medal of Honor Monday.
For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, Specialist 5 Sasser distinguished himself. Specialist 5th class, I'm sorry, I'm just going to call him Specialist 5 to shorten it up. Specialist 5 Sasser distinguished himself while assigned to Headquarters and Headquarters Company 3rd Battalion. He was serving as a medical aid man with Company A, 3rd Battalion, on a reconnaissance in force operation. I'll explain that more in a moment. His company was making an air assault when suddenly it was taken under heavy small arms, recoilless rifle, machine gun, and rocket fire from well-fortified enemy positions on 3 sides of the landing zone. I'll explain that again in a moment, too. During the first few minutes, over 30 casualties were sustained. Without hesitation, Specialist 5 Sasser ran across an open rice paddy through a hail of fire to assist the wounded. After helping one man to safety, he was painfully wounded in the left shoulder by fragments of an exploding rocket. Refusing medical attention, he ran through a barrage of rocket and automatic weapons fire to aid casualties of the initial attack. After giving them urgently needed medical treatment, continued to search for other wounded. Despite 2 additional wounds immobilizing his legs, he dragged himself through the mud toward another soldier 100 meters away. Although in agonizing pain and faint from blood loss, Specialist 5 Sasser reached the man, treated him, and proceeded on to encourage another group of soldiers to crawl 200 meters to relative safety. There, he attended their wounds for 5 hours until they were evacuated. Specialist 5 Sasser's extraordinary heroism is in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflect great credit upon himself, his unit, and the United States Army. All right. First, I wanted to talk just a couple things about this, give some clarity before we get back to news and other things. What is a reconnaissance in force? Well, you don't know where they are. In military matters, in battles, in wars, this is not just Vietnam, throughout history. We don't think about it this way, but sometimes you couldn't find them. You don't know where they are. You don't know how many of them they are. We imagine that it's all satellite images, right? That you have an exact GPS location on 25 guys there. It doesn't work like that at all. Even today, with satellites and things like that, that doesn't work in heavily wooded areas, mountain terrain. You can't see. You're looking straight down. You don't have other options. You don't know where they are. Okay, so that's fine. You got to go find them. How many do you send, though? Let's rewind all the way back to Roman days. Let's go back there before we go back to Vietnam. If you're looking for what you think might be, remember, you're getting little fragments of intelligence. You think there might be a 20, 30,000 man army of Germans or Celts out there, which actually would not have been a large army for them, but you think there might be 20 or 30,000 of them out there somewhere. How many men do you send to go find them? You send 2? Okay. If you send 2, then 10 guys catch them and your 2 guys die. All right. Do you send 100? Well, that's a lot. Then you see, it's always an argument. Now, a reconnaissance in force operation means this. You are sending a oftentimes light, there won't be a huge baggage train behind them. You'll send a light as you can make it, army of significant size so that if they run into problems, they don't have to run away and they won't be wiped out. They can fight, but they're not going to do a super long, sustained operation because they don't have enough stuff. That's reconnaissance in force, all right? In Vietnam, it oftentimes took on this form, and I'll get to the helicopter landing zone in a moment. You take a bunch of your guys because of the jungle, and pause, remember the Vietnamese were geniuses at hiding things. Most people know about the tunnels. They had this really, really intricate miles and miles of tunnels, underground tunnels that was more than just a tunnel getting from A to B. Underwater hospitals. You would sleep under there, eat under there. They were like moles. They would go under the ground, and so you couldn't see them even with planes, with helos. Walking on them half the time you couldn't see them. It's not like the tunnel had a sign on it, right? So they were not only great at tunnels, they were amazing at using the jungle to cover up what was there so planes and helicopters couldn't see it from above. One story I read, and I forget what the book was, one story I read, a guy was standing. He was standing on the road, but it didn't look like a road. And it took him a while standing on the road to figure out it wasn't a road. So he and his boys step off to figure out what's going on. Here's what they find. The trees are tied together in such a way they string the trees together so the trees completely cover up the road during the day. Then they have guys with buckets and buckets of leaves to spread it over the road during the day. The sun goes down. They untie the trees. They sweep off the road. There's now a road where an hour earlier there was no road. And then at night, they do all their thing, driving people back and forth. As soon as the sun's getting ready to start coming up, whip, 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 tie all the trees back together, dump the buckets of leaves, the road disappears. I know, it was ingenious. So they were really quite good at it. You had to send people out. Now, how in the world could a bunch of helicopters land and have 3 of the 4 sides of a landing zone immediately open up with this kind of firepower? Let me go ahead and spoil it for you. Either you're the most unlucky unit in the world and you landed right in the middle of a Vietnamese company's headquarters, which did happen, or they knew you were coming. There were so many leaks with communist sympathizers from South Vietnam where they would simply leak every detail of our operations to the enemy. The enemy knew the landing zones. The enemy knew how many guns to bring. And look, flying in a helicopter, I don't know how much you've done it, can be nerve-wracking anyway. In peacetime, it's an awkward thing. I've never liked them. I've told you that before. I've never liked them. I've done it more than once. I've never liked them. In peacetime, it can be awkward and a little nerve-wracking if you let your mind start playing tricks on you. You know what it's like to have people shooting rockets and AK-47s at you when you're landing or taking off? I don't. And I don't want to know. Very brave man right there. Clarence Eugene Sasser. How about that?